So some of you guys been following along, especially on Instagram as well, where you see this area a lot. This is actually my mom's work. And if you never, we have the 30C and then the 45P, which you guys see. Not as much on YouTube. Obviously, you guys just see like updates, but if you follow me on Instagram, you see it, every week. But so we actually are adding another third tank to this place, and we were able to put it right here. It made a great spot. It was the exact width of a 60P. We put these panels on because it actually looked like this right here. So we put these panels, so that side's solid, but then this side actually has, we put sliding doors, so we could put, filtration and our CO2 down there. And then of course this tank will be pushed a little farther back until it gets to that opening where the pipes can come through. But I didn't really video me doing the escape because this was a tank that's going to be very difficult to escape, and I just needed a bunch of time, literally hours to figure out how to do this. Because the difficult part about this tank, and this is something I've never had to do before, is having it look good on both sides and be able to view it on both sides. So, and that's very challenging because especially with this tank being only 12 inches wide, it is very hard to get escape to look good on both sides and have enough room to where cleaning is not a problem as well. And so this video is just more, you guys will actually see the final product in this video, but by the time I'm recording at this moment, I'm actually going to come back the next day and do the final stuff, because I didn't have the rock that I needed to. So there's actually gonna be a lot more rock in here, but all I brought was big Frodo, so a lot of it didn't work out. Some of it I was able to use, but I just need to get more stone. So you'll see that in the next clips. But this is basically the hardscape that I'm gonna leave off for tonight, and then yeah, I'll come back tomorrow and actually final touch everything, and grab some more wood just to see if I can play with, try to add as much more detail as I can, for sure, now that I know kind of what I'm doing. But this is all this leftover piece of wood, so surprisingly for just leftover stuff, just random stuff I had, I think it turned out pretty good. Of course, again, there might be some pieces that I might change out for others if I can find some that are a little bit better. But you can see the scape, both sides. I mean, if you look at both sides, they're both pretty. Of course, I'll keep adding to it, but both look pretty good on both sides. That looks good. Even this one's probably gonna look even better, which is better for me because this will probably be more the viewing side that more people are gonna come up to. Of course, you walk in here and you'll see it first, but if somebody's really gonna come up and look at it, they're probably gonna come up on this side where the seating is. So this side really has, I think, even more detail, which I like. So that worked out great. But even that has sticking out. I eventually will have a pendant on here, but I think for now I'm just gonna throw on the 88 light. I have a 60 centimeter light that I'll put on here. But eventually I want to actually hang a pendant off here because I think it'll look really sick, especially with the escape eventually. I think that'll definitely be and plus for this area, it's just gonna look a lot nicer. It's already a fancier building, so definitely need to put a pendant. But I want to get the ONF flat one for this, just because obviously you guys have seen it on my 60F. It just looks real sleek and modern. I'm not really worried about like a bunch of power on it. Of course, we want enough light to support what we're gonna grow, but yeah, I think ONF for the design, and then of course it's still a 70-watt white light, so it's gonna do plenty for us. So yeah, I don't want to make this clip too long. I just wanted to show the initial, my thoughts and kind of stuff I'm doing right now, and then you guys, the main clip, you guys will see the next clip will be the final touches and all that goodies. So yeah, I'll see you guys on the next clip, and if you guys have any other questions, just let me know. So this is actually next day. So the previous clip you saw, of course, like I was mentioning, was that current day, and this is the next day. So the last time you saw us, we just had the woodscape done, and that's it. And we just didn't have any like smaller stone to use. I ended up grabbing a lot of bigger stone, and I didn't realize how much space the wood would actually take up. So we really didn't have stone. So now I actually was able to get the smaller stone, which is actually called Yamaya stone. It's another stone by ADA. It stays really small. Only gets the biggest pieces you'll find of that type of stone is like literally like 5 or 6 inches. So it's really nice, especially with scapes where you don't need bigger stuff. It works out perfectly. So yeah, so I added a few more wood pieces. So I added this piece because it just fit. It was a curvature piece, and it fit so perfect around this one edge. So I added it. I don't know if it exactly looks right there, but on the other side it actually looks really good. On this side it doesn't look the greatest, but on the other side it really makes the escape look a lot better. So that's why I left it there. And then The only other changes is I actually added this piece that curves around above this big rock and then attaches to that rock. I thought that added some sick detail. Like when you can kind of see how all these pieces are going this way, and then you have this piece curving around and going that way too. And I think it just kind of the flow of the scape that just helped it a lot, and added a little more detail, of course. But there's a lot of great detail on that piece. Only other piece I added was this like straight stick piece sticking out, just again just to keep with the flow. And then I did add this piece again coming out on top of this rock just to kind of fill in the space a little bit. I thought that looked a lot better. So soil wise, I probably could have put even more soil, but I'm just not sure exactly what plant wise I'm gonna do it. I can always add more, but I think that's gonna be plenty because basically what the plan is for this tank is we're really gonna have actually a lot of epiphytes, not so much like Bucephalandra nubius, which we will have a lot of that, of course, but it's gonna be more like ferns, maybe Bobitis. So we'll just see. I'm not the biggest like fern and fern Bobitis, other epiphytes. I'm not the biggest fan of those types. But for this scape, it's going to work perfect. So I'm actually going to be happy to use those because I don't use them a whole lot. So it's going to be a good change for once, especially for this channel as well and for me. So that'll be fun. So basically, I want a lot of growth, in the middle here for sure. So I basically want it eventually to be like a round mound of plants is basically my goal. And we might be able to still plant stems because I actually have soil all in the middle here. So it just depends. Like my plan actually was to do some S repins like through the middle here. But we'll see. Like there's spots where I might be able to actually get the stems in here and get it bushed up a little bit. But again, we'll totally see. We might be able to do a thing where most of the stems are kind of right in this area, and then when it gets thinned out a little more, that's when bring in some of our epiphytes. But we'll see what happens. I mean, either way, it's gonna look pretty sick. Either way, even just as it looks right now, it looks great. So, but yeah, that's what this back section is. This will definitely be for stems. I don't know what stems I'll go with yet. I mean, really, it doesn't matter. Anything's gonna look good. So we're just gonna so there'll be stems, and hopefully over time they'll kind of like grow forward a little bit and wrap around. So there's like kind of this bush in this back, and of course that's where the lily pipes. Of course, the hole that we talked about, the lily pipes will go in the back too. So that will cover that as well. And then of course, we'll have mosses and stuff like that. Ricardia will probably be the biggest one. I do have some like other mosses that I might tie onto the end of these woods for sure, but I don't want to go too much crazy with that because moss can get out of hand, but the moss I picked, I think it'll be just fine. But we're definitely will stick to Ricardia for sure for the most part. So this is the other side I was talking about. So this side's a lot more detailed, which is great anyways. Because the other side still looks great, but this is the side that most people are gonna see. Because when you first walk in, you'll look at it, but then this is the side that because this is a sitting area. So when you go sit down, this is the side that people are really just gonna actually be looking at. So it kind of worked out better that this side got more of the detail. So it looks pretty crazy right now with like, it almost looks like too much a little bit. It actually looks really good in person, but camera does make it like look like there's, it's just a pile of everything. So, but it does look pretty good. And the basically the goal is there'll be so much like Cardia moss and Bucephalandra all in these crevices, and that it'll just cover up all this anyway. So over time, it's just gonna grow in between all this stuff and look really good. So sometimes the hardscape just gets covered up, and the plants will just make the tank look better itself anyway. So, and that's sometimes how I think when I scape as well, is I think about how the plants are going to look over time, to where even if some areas don't look as great, I can always think back on my mind like how I can actually rescape it with plants. So there's always something to think about. So obviously that one piece I was talking about, you can see how it actually looks pretty good on this side. And then there's actually this curvature piece, because I did add this big stone. You can see this curvature piece that I put down here. I thought it looked pretty good. I did add this piece, and then I actually added this piece as well. Again, just adds just so much detail, and then with all these pieces sticking out, it just looks real natural, like just almost like just a bay of a river, like just a part of the river, just all these sticks and pile of rocks, which of course I did a lot of detail all in here. So but yeah, like I said, there'll be so much moss and S repens, Bucephalandra, nubius, all in these crevices that most of it's just gonna get so covered up over time. So if you see the 45p, that's basically how it'll look over time. It's just gonna make a big round of plants around this entire edge, which will look pretty sick over time for sure. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I don't want to make this video too long. I'm just here to kind of showcase Escape. So there will be a little pause on videos for this for a little while, because this actually won't get planted until like probably the end of the year more than likely, because there's still equipment I need to get, and I'm not sure if I can be able to get it right now, at least in time for like, or with Christmas going on and all that. So it'll be a little bit before you guys see all that, but you guys will see this video, probably a month before that, early December, somewhere in there. But just want to showcase. Obviously, the goal of this tank was to be able to have it viewable on both sides and look really good. I think we achieved that well. You can look down here and actually see that both sides have plenty of space. So I think we did, for what we were given, I think looks perfectly fine. So yeah, I'm really liking it for sure. And of course, all these pieces were little scraps. So like for scraps, I think we did an amazing job. So definitely let me know what you guys think for sure. But yeah, I think over time, once plants get in, it's gonna look really good. The light actually, so I was talking about having a pendant, which would look really nice, and it would hang down pretty far because this ceiling is probably a good like 5 or 6 feet above this tank right here, this soffit. So it might have looked weird anyways having a pendant. I mean, we could still do it, but honestly, this Twin Star 600, I think I might just leave. This is actually the version 3, so it's actually gonna look better anyways compared to the version 2s we have in both of the other tanks over here. So I think I'll just leave the Twin Star and actually use it as the permanent light. I actually don't mind it at all. I think it's perfect. I just always like the Twin Star with the clear acrylic legs. It just always looks really good against the 88 glass. So just makes everything look real clean. So I think this was definitely the great choice. But yeah, other than that, comment, like, subscribe. If you guys have any other questions, just comment down below or follow my Instagram at JJ Aquariums if you want to direct DM me there and ask me questions, or we can always discuss and have conversations there. That's totally fine. But other than that, yeah, I'll see you guys on the next video on this series.